UFC 284 is in the bag, and we probably had one of the best fights of the year already. Islam Makhachev secured a win over Alexander Volkanovski. Mark, my first question to you, though, is do you think it was a robbery?
I wouldn't say robbery with who won, the outcome of the fight, but one of the scorecards was 49-46 in favor of Islam. Yeah. That, I think, is ridiculous. I don't know what fight they were watching. Maybe it was Khabib just with a mustache and a hat on, one of the judges. Like that. But that aside, Dwain, just to reiterate what you were saying then, that was a great fight. I was on the edge of my seat. I've had a beamer since the fight started and it won't go down. That fight was just amazing. Fight of the year contender already, and we're only in February. Did you think it was a robbery, actually? I haven't asked you yet.
No, I didn't think it was a robbery. Like we were saying in the live stream, I felt though Islam was probably up on points, but it was really, really close. For me, I'd say Volk won 4 and 5 and Islam won 2 and 3. And the first one could have gone either way. So I'm not upset Islam won. I think that's the right decision and it's a fair decision. But the score of 49-46 is ridiculous. But Mark, did you expect Volkanovski to do as well as he did? I mean, just seeing him just literally just throw off Islam's submission attempts as though they were nothing. He literally threw him off like he was nothing. Did you expect that?
Well, I don't know what fight you were watching actually, Dwain, because I certainly didn't see any of that. But I was 100% shocked. Well, you're shocked, but in the same sense, you're going, why am I shocked? Yeah. He is the pound for pound number one. He's so good, but it's just the size difference, isn't it? How good was that though, Dwain, in the 4th round where Islam had Volk's back? He had a body triangle secured, locked in. Volk screaming, "Who's short now?" Smashing him in the face from behind. That's one of them moments. It's like the Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald, where it spits blood and they just glare at each other, where you thought, this is where you feel lucky to be an MMA fan. This is what gets you invested. Both of us were on the edge of our seat. Every time Volk could wipe his nose and would be, what's happened? It gets you so invested, and there's no shame in admitting it. You're just, a little fanboy. That's all I am,
Yeah, 100%. I am a fanboy, and I'm not even going to deny it. I was rooting for Volk, and I'm so glad he did so well. I think a lot of people were really, really underestimating Volk, and it was clear Islam thought the same as well. He kept saying there's a short guy, Australia's got no wrestling, but Volk showed that he can stand with the best. Imagine if Volk was 5'10" and massive. Do you know what I mean? He probably would have finished Islam, but he just, honestly, I'm genuinely proud for him. I'm so happy for him, and I'm incredibly excited. Do you think we'll get this fight again? Do you think we'll get a rematch?
I was literally just about to say, I'm hoping that they run it back, and sooner rather than later. I know Volk said in the post-fight that he's let's go and secure featherweight. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'd honestly, as a fan, selfish fan, because of how good that were, I'd selfishly want to see them run that back straight away again.
Yeah.
How good that fight was. It leaves a taste in your mouth of like, I want a bit more of that. I want to see that again, rather than just it being a one-off. The featherweight king and the lightweight king fighting away, like it just, you need something else.
Yeah, I agree. I feel as though it'd be great to have them have one more defense each and then the lock horns again and we'll get the rematch. But talking about a defense for Volk, we move on to the interim featherweight fight with Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. Mark, did you expect Yair Rodriguez to get a submission over Emmett in the way he did?
Absolutely not. And I must admit, all week I've been saying that, people are sleeping on Emmett, sort of thing, but I was sleeping on Yair.
Yeah.
Honestly. I know he's got great kicks, that kind of stuff, but I was relying too much on my, not just on my mind, but on my wallet for Josh's boxing. And in the sense, them kicks that Yair were landing, they were deadly. They were absolutely disgusting. They were straight out of one of the Predator or Blade movies or something like that. They were disgusting, them kicks. And he kept finding a home for them, though, didn't he? But as soon as when he got into the floor, that's the last thing that I would have ever thought. Yair Rodriguez securing a triangle. I know he's got them before. He's got submissions on his tally before, but I just was not expecting that. Did you expect more of just a stand and bang for 5 rounds?
No, in all honesty, I thought Emmett was going to try and grind his way to a decision, maybe take him down, hold him down for 5 rounds. But I did predict Yair to win, but I thought we'd have got a close decision. But I really didn't expect the triangle choke the way it came out. I really thought Emmett was going to put up a real big fight there. And he was doing well on the feet. I mean, he was doing well in the exchanges, but the problem is he just wasn't dynamic enough. He kept just trying to throw these big bombs all the time, and Yair could see it. You know, you've got to throw in some feints. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough.
The third fight on the main card, Dwayne, how much of a good feel was that?
Yeah, it felt great. Seeing Della Maddalena versus Randy Brown was incredibly exciting. Jack, I was going to say got a knockout, but he didn't actually. He got a submission, but he dropped Randy Brown with some ferocity. And when he was down, got hold of him and submitted him. Did you expect Randy Brown to put more of a fight than he actually did?
I thought he was doing actually great. To be honest, I know it was a round 1 finish, but I thought that was he was going to dictate the pace throughout the 3 rounds in general. But when he got caught, like you say, because of the way and in the manner that he dropped to the floor, it's very easy to think, oh yeah, when he knocked him out, you're like, no, I didn't actually. That was just the beginning of the end, because then he got a barrage of punches and then he ended up securing a choke. But it's just in the way that he punched him. And it's like that delayed reaction that always frightens me a little bit. It reminds me of Shane Burgos. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where you just kind of hover for a little bit and then it's the face plant to the floor. I thought the referee could have stepped in then, but he seemed to have gathered himself for the 5 or 6 seconds left that the fight had. But, it was a great fight all in all. And I think Jack Della Maddalena, he is going to be a future star. Maybe not a champion, but 100% going to be definitely a future star. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him in the future.
Let's move on to Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter with an incredible first round knockout. Mark, I was wrong. I thought Porter was going to get a win here. I felt like he was going to be too dynamic and just too much for Tafa. But how good does it feel to see Tafa get on the win column again?
Oh, yeah. Seeing Roman Reigns with his head shaved, getting back in the win column. Absolutely fantastic. That knockout. He does
look like him. He does look like him, doesn't it? But sorry, carry on.
There's a little look there. But, I feel like the Aussie crowd acknowledged him, all that kind of stuff. It's just to really put a point on why I'm here. I know the past couple of fights haven't really gone his way, and he has got losses on his record, but this is him in the UFC. He's got that knockout power. These heavyweights that swing, you couldn't have asked for a better time shot. And it was almost shades of Mark Hunt, in the way that he looked at him. Then he just walked away.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Love to see it. Obviously, I hope Parker Porter's okay, but I was rooting for my boy Justin. I'm not going to go against him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I love fights like this with just 2 big heavyweights swinging at each other. But like we were saying before in the live stream, it feels as though these kind of fights are going to die out. We're getting a very well-rounded heavyweight division, and these big swinging fighters probably don't have long left. But it's good to see them while they're there. We had Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield, which finished via a draw because Mark Goddard deducted a point from Randy Brown for grabbing the fence. Mark, did you feel that point deduction was fair?
Yeah, because, obviously I'd have to go back and watch the fight, but if my memory serves me correct, it was going for a takedown and it prevented that takedown. So that's why it was straight away a point deducted. If it was just led on the floor and he just happened to grab the fence, that'd be just more of a, don't do that. But when it alters the outcome of the fight, then, that's when I think it should be, okay, you should know better than that. You shouldn't be grabbing the fence as you're going to get taken. Probably your instinct just kicks in. I've never been in the bloody cage, but, you can imagine that's what's happened. All in all, that was another fight. What a way to open the card. On the edge of your seat with excitement. Again, them two standing and banging. Jimmy Crute looked like he was out of it a couple of times in that fight. But, he managed to persevere, stick with it, come back. What a great fight. And they even said in the octagon after, didn't they? They said, we'll run it back. And I'd like to see that fight. What did you think?
Yeah, it's a rematch that I'd love to see, actually. It was a really, really fun fight. And at first, Jimmy Crute seemed to be dominating that sort of first half of the round. I thought he's got this in the bag. He was winning the standing exchanges, he was winning the grappling exchanges, and then it all just quickly went downhill for him. And he was lucky to get that point deduction. Normally, I'm all up for him deducting points for these kind of things. But maybe it wasn't warranted. Maybe it was just perhaps a little too much. But I'm glad they're being firm on these point deductions with fence grabs, because fighters are getting away with it all the time, constantly, and they need to be more firm on this cheating. But overall, I thought this was an incredibly exciting card. I've been crapping on it all week. It feels like there wasn't much promotion, but it really lived up to the hype. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, subscribe, it really does help us out.